now I want tagging. I mean, you've handled the warning. Now the other question that you kind of left hanging is this issue of tagging.
Yep.
And does that also handle the picking the different items and the zombies and getting a different web view for each?
Yep. So what we need here is basically, so we have this nice scroll view, right? And we can scroll back and forth and we can see a bunch of zombies.
Right.
And we're going to tap on them, okay? So when we tap on it, basically what we need is we need some way to know which button was tapped.
Okay.
So that we can display the appropriate information down here in our web view.
So are you tagging each button with some kind of indicator? Right. Is that what we're doing here?
So what we can do is, there's a couple of different ways we could get there in code. Is one, we could keep track of which button, like when we could allocate the OS references, which button did we actually touch on. But then we have to maintain, which button means what zombie, that kind of mapping, right? We don't need to worry about that. We know we're going to have a one-to-one mapping from buttons to zombies, right?
Yes.
That's how we built this whole thing. And so in Objective-C, views, or anything that descends from views, have an ID of a tag. And it's an integer, and it is completely developer-owned. The framework will never touch it. You can set that tag to anything you want.
Like
and
say
it will
to
have
the array
the index in the array, exactly.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
So what we're going to do,
and that's built in, so we don't have to create data structures or.
Nope. We're just going to take advantage of the tag. Okay. So what we did.
And so this would be for each button.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly. So when we go back here, I'll talk about this tag in a second. Okay. Because this is going to show up when we go back later. But basically, what we did, we have this button index, right? So now what we're looking at here is the initialized zombie strip again. Okay.
Yes.
We're looking at that code. Whoops. We're looking at that code.
Okay.
Okay. And we start out with a button index of 0. Okay. And we're using that
so
button
now you're
index
counting where we are
through. Exactly. And so all we do is we set the tag on the button we just created to that button index.
So since UI button inherits from UI view, it's got this tag.
Yep. Exactly. This tag that's available for us to use.
Okay.
And so we use the button index, and that's the same button index we're using to as we iterate through each zombie. To keep track of it. Okay. And then what that's going to do is it's going to give us, when we hit a button, we can find out what tag it is. Right? So what we did, when we set up this target, is we have all the buttons calling the same method.
And we've never talked about that method.
Right. So now we come down to this method, right? So this method, typically when you build this stuff,
this makes. I mean, already in my head, I can see this is a very simple. Figure out the button, figure out the tag.
Exactly.
Look it up in the array.
We don't need a separate callback for every single button.